Hi to everyone out there. I'm Matt. With me is Speedify CEO Alex, and we're very happy to have Switchboard Live CEO Rudy with us today as our special guest. Just a quick shout out to anybody who somehow doesn't know. This is Speedify Live. Speedify is a fantastic app that can be used to combine your multiple internet connections. Sorry, like Wi-Fi, Ethernet, cellular. It brings all those connections together to create a optimized and protected connection that you can use for streaming, like we are right now. I think we actually have so it's available on Windows, Linux, Mac, iOS, and Android. I think I got them all. Alex, did I miss anything?
No, sounds right.
All right. Yep.
I was going to say a few upgrades to the gear, right? So biggest complaint previous broadcast has been my audio. So I don't know if you can see, I got one of these, can you, right?
Oh,
nice. the Yeti Caster Blue, so this monstrosity, and people have been complimenting me on how great I sound all day. So
no, that's great. Yeah.
Hopefully that helps.
When's the podcast start?
Yeah, I mean, I guess now I'm obligated to start one.
Yeah, I'd say go for it. Why not?
Yeah. I also got one of these plasma spheres. I thought it'd be really cool to have this in the background, right? Except that whenever it's on, my mouse stops working. So I'm actually rather terrified of what kind of radiation this thing's putting out. So it is now unplugged. I'm not messing with it. And then, so finally, we're using an all new software stack here that we never used before. We're using Ecamm off a Mac, and it is streaming to Switchboard Live, which is then sending it to 8 different locations, right? Twitch and YouTube and LinkedIn for both Connectify and for the Switchboard.
You know what you are missing today, though, from the stream? You know what you're missing, Alex?
What am I missing?
You have your Speedify shirt that we usually have. We have Speedify shirts on, and you switched up on me without telling me, and now I feel like I showed up in the
I couldn't find it in 60 seconds of searching this morning, so I gave up. I was sort of hoping it was here, and it isn't.
You're letting me down, but that's okay. That's okay. Because I can let that slide because I'm so excited that we have Rudy Ellis from Switchboard Live here with us today, who you just gave a shout out to. It would have been a more natural segue if I had just gone straight from that, but I really want to yell at you for not having the shirt first. Would have been. I passed up the open layup for that. And I also want to remind everyone that we are taking questions on the various channels that we are currently streaming on. So if you have any, you can go ahead and ask. I'll be checking them, and I'll be popping in with any questions any of you all have.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, sure.
So, Rudy, welcome. Can you tell us a little bit? I mean, maybe we should start with you, right? So, I mean, I know your title is CEO, but what do you do at Switchboard?
Come up with the cool, crazy ideas, right? All the cool features, really drive the product, really be a support system for the team. I mean, I think that's probably the biggest thing that a CEO needs to do, amongst other things, obviously. Keep the company funded, right? Keep the lights on, those types of things. Those are obviously, important as well. But I think, really what I like to do and what keeps me super excited about what we're doing is talking to our customers, understanding, their challenges, understanding how Switchboard and, fits into, their workflow and figure out ways that we can improve upon what they're doing on a daily basis. How do we make it better? How do we, get them to get more viewers? Because at the end of the day, that's what really matters. So really just thinking about, how can we make our customers' lives better and build a product that they need versus just build a product that we think is cool.
Yeah. So how do you talk to them? I mean, is it email, chat? Do you call them, see people?
So
what's the
a little
process
bit of both.
for talking?
Probably. So this is probably the most when we say see people, right? Is this type of interaction? But majority of times it's on the phone. It's answering our phone. Jumping on calls with other team members. Especially if there are ideas and feedback and feature requests that come in. We really want to understand the how and the why, and really just kind of peel back the layers and understand like what is it actually doing, and can this be beneficial to other folks as well, right? So that's, it's all of the above. It's definitely emails. It's definitely these kind of face-to-face interactions. Hopefully we'll start doing in-person meetings as well, but this, I think
that would be fun.
These types of environments are making it even
them.
easier to be able to talk to international folks, right? So like that's been probably the last 12 to 15 months has been pretty awesome to be able to really, reach out and talk to people, globally, that are interested in using Switchboard. So yeah, it's been awesome.
So why don't you start at the top and tell us what Switchboard does and why someone would want it?
Great question, right? So I love to tell like a story where when the idea kind of really started, years ago. I used to work for a company, back down in Florida area, Orlando, Florida area rather, and one of our customers at the time came and said, "Hey, we have our own conference website, and then we have our own athletic website, that we want to send video to, but this is again." Pre-Facebook Live, pre-TikTok, pre-all these other platforms, but we don't have, the ability to go to both of them because we don't have two computers, we don't have two cameras, we don't have basically double of everything. We don't have, the bandwidth to be able to send that up from an upstream perspective. Is there a way where we could, take what we're doing and send that to both of those destinations? Because really it was beneficial because their audience was fragmented. They had an audience that was a part of the conference website, and then they had their own core, followers on their website. And frankly, that was the idea, or that was the itch. It's like, yeah, there should be a way to be able to do that. And me being the kind of like techie that I am, I went home and kind of thought through a process that would do just that. And so if you fast forward to where we're at today, it's amazing to see other platforms be able to take a single live stream and then publish that to one or more different destinations, right? There wasn't really a non-technical way to do that, via the cloud. And so that's where we started off doing, and that's where, we're focused 100% of our time on. And really when you take a step back, that was like step one, is like, let's prove that this is doable, and then, provide a hardware based solution to do that. And make it easy, right? For folks that aren't like me and you, right? Who can probably figure it out, but we want, social media people, we want.
You might overestimate me there.
Pardon me?
You might be overestimating me, but go on.
Well, I would hope so. You have a CEO of a tech company. I mean, maybe not the live part, but at least figure it out. But the thing is like, really, how do you take and drill it down to make it really easy for a lot of times there are volunteers or interns, there are non-technical folks that are really thinking about live video and the distribution of the live video to all the different segments and platforms that really matter to their audiences wherever they are. And so like, that's really been our North Star. It's you have these great tools like Ecamm and OBS and so forth that allow you to produce a stream, but like, how do you go out and really tap into the different audiences that exist and allow them to carry your stream? That's really, what Switchboard does. Our whole goal is we want to make it so that you can really, engage and grow your live audience.
Yeah, the software is really easy to use. We, set up, 8 different locations, and we're apparently live streaming to all of them right now, and that's fantastic. Yeah. One of the neat things you have is the stuff about how your guests can temporarily give you permission to stream to their sources.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
why don't you
our
talk about
stream
that?
share
That's really
feature.
cool.
Yeah. So again, kind of back to when you were asking, like, what do I do as a CEO and think about the product and features and talk to customers? That core concept was birthed from an event that we were at, where part of the channels that were that we were like the stream team as well as the distribution team, years ago, was we had to coordinate the efforts to get access to. There were musicians. Some of these were like famous people's channels, and it was like an act of Congress, right? To kind of get connected and get access to their channels and making people an admin. And so what we've done is we've really productized that process, and that's what StreamShare does. StreamShare makes it really easy for you as a Switchboard Live user to send in an email invite, right? I just like, hey, Alex, we want you to stream to our social channels. That email went to you, or sorry, that you sent that email to me rather, and I was able to add in, Switchboard social channels for you to publish to, and that's really been eye-opening to really understand how people are now incorporating that and building their strategy around that. Like, this has been really awesome to see. Again, like solving for a technical solution and simplification, like that's really where a lot of these things come about. But then the byproduct of that is, hey, I'm able to have channels that I otherwise would not have had accessibility, sponsors, brands, and participants to now carry the stream that they're a part of, because it makes sense, right? It's a part of the stream. And so StreamShare is a cool feature, and we're definitely going to be adding more features to it and really expanding upon it, because we're getting great feedback from it.
Right. Yeah, it's funny. I suddenly realized, right, I was just thinking about like getting your guests to give you more places to stream to get a slightly larger audience. But it probably goes the other way too, right? There's probably destinations looking for good content.
Yes, you're absolutely
going around
correct.
to people saying, please, would you stream to me? Right? I mean, it almost becomes a marketplace or something.
You're 100% correct, right? And we definitely see, opportunity around that. Like, think about, like if you're what's one of your hobbies? I'm gonna flip it around and ask you a question. What's one of your hobbies?
Playing guitar.
Playing guitar. All right. So think about all the folks in the YouTube content creators and channels and Facebook groups that are out there that are just like super narrowed in on how do you start playing the guitar or learning how to play guitar. And you're doing a weekly live stream about that. Like, how awesome would it be for Alex, doing, I'm ignorant to guitar playing, to be honest with you, but whatever type of preparation or training, I mean, strumming the what are those things called? I don't even, the chords, the strings, right? The chords, right? Yeah. But, but being able to have your weekly shows or whatever it is, go to those groups. And to your point, they would love to see and engage, because that's the type of content that they're subscribing to, right? And those channels don't even have to have live. They don't even have to go live. It's just that's where the audience is. And so you're kind of, to your point, is you're meeting the audience and putting the content where you're going to get the type of people who want to give you feedback and give you advice. And so, and maybe you never know, like you could become the next thing for America's Got Talent, because they recognize you, or there. So I don't know, just joking.
Okay. Matt is saying that somebody's got a question for you. Matt, you want to pop in and ask our first question? That's too small.
Yeah, there we go. We actually have a little bit of text overlay. That's neat.
Yeah.
We're learning on the go. But here, I can
try.
also read. I have it a little bit bigger on my end, so I can read it.
Yeah,
off.
I need my glasses for that one.
We have from Mike. He says, "I'm a Switchboard customer and have only been using it for a short time, but has been very reliable, which is great." Well, that's pretty nice. I'm excited about the StreamShare tool as a differentiator. What does Rudy see as future features that will continue to set Switchboard apart from competitors?
That's a great question, Mike. Thanks for first of all, Mike, thanks for tuning in, and I'm glad that things are working out. Switchboard, and kind of like some of the points that I mentioned earlier, is really focusing on how do you as a content producer, live publisher, whatever you coin yourself, is we want to make it easy for you to be able to go out and connect to those audiences. So, Stream Share is like the first phase of that step, right? Is being able to make it easy for more people to opt in their social channels and be able to see, your live content. And so if you think about even taking it a step further is, Alex kind of got there already, is like, maybe there's an opportunity to suggest to you these channels make sense for your live streams because of, the genre. And, oh, by the way, maybe the average watch time or the type of content that these channels are, have is germane to your audience or the type of content you're producing. And so that's how we're thinking about really focusing on, you to get more viewers, because at the end of the day, you can produce a great quality stream, but if no one tunes in and watch it, was it worth it, right? And so we've come to that realization that there are even cloud products. Like I know Alex, you mentioned that you guys have used Melon app and Restream and StreamYard, all these great studio products, but they're producing a good stream. But imagine having that and then popping that stream into Switchboard and you're able to blast out to however many destinations. That's really how we're thinking about this live streaming supply chain, right? How do you take all the tools that you need so that you can achieve, maximum reach, maximum exposure, maximum discoverability? And so really, we are focusing on the last mile, the distribution, the syndication, the multi-publishing approach. And that's really where we're going to put all our eggs in and really strive for. We have some cool stuff coming up in Q4. Maybe in about 30 days or so, we'll probably make some more announcements. I don't want to let the cat out the bag, but really focusing on the last mile and growing your audience, because at the end of the day, that's what matters.
See, I was really hoping that you would just come onto our live stream and start sharing all the company secrets that you're not allowed to release yet. I really thought that you were going to use this as your big product launch for everything. I'm a little disappointed.
Live streaming, the whole Switchboard Live roadmap, right?
I'm a little disappointed that that's not what happened, but I can manage.
I'll come back. How about that? We'll come back and we'll do it again.
I think that should be it. Yeah. I think you should just come back.
Let's do that. All right, we'll come back.
We can set that up. I'm sure the rest of your team at Switchboard will have no problems with that. That'll be great.
Yeah, maybe we'll have another team member. Another team member can come back and talk about cool features.
I mean, that was a great answer too. I love that. The only other comment I have that I want to share is from Jeffrey, who said hello. So hi, Jeffrey. So I wanted to give a shout out there. All right, so I can just want to pop in and give the questions. I'll be popping back in when we have some more.
Cool.
Don't mean to step on Alex's toes too much.
No. That's. Hopefully that would answer the question. I mean, because like when you really think about it, I mean, it's with all these different products that are popping in and really focusing different segments within this live streaming, that we call it the live streaming supply chain, it's becoming more and more fragmented, right? And so we see a tremendous opportunity to kind of be that, that spoke or the hub in a spoke to really be able to provide, the different distribution strategies. Think about like, live commerce, right? You have like Amazon.live or Amazon.com/live and all these, different, shopping applications, like e-commerce, like that's amazing. Like figuring out ways to bring people back to purchase and conduct and buy from you, right? Like that is a means of using multi-streaming, right? Multi-streaming is the medium for you to be able to connect out there and have a call to action, right? Go download this app, go subscribe to this, go sign up for this, go buy that, right? That's how we're really thinking about, and really, leveraging, multi-streaming as a tool and a distribution strategy, for whatever product or content you're producing.
Yeah. So thoughts on what people should be doing to grow their audience? I mean, any keen insights there?
Key insights. Well, I think a good example would kind of go back to the whole guitar playing, example, right? Let's identify some, whether it's Facebook groups or channels that are probably looking for, live evergreen content, to share with their audience, right? Like that's one way to really go out and say like, hey, I produced this weekly show. And here's the topics that we're talking about. I think your audience will love that. And oh, by the way, maybe there's an opportunity to monetize that, right? Maybe there's a transaction that could occur, right? So not only are you getting a bigger audience, but now, you're monetizing your content because you've brokered a deal where they want your shows and your content on their channel. So I think really identifying the channels and that makes sense. And then they're just some rules of thumb, right? Consistency, right? You have to, whatever your cadence is, you got to stick with that. Because people are going to get in tune. They're going to, get used to your scheduling. So definitely want to stay with consistency. And then, obviously truly there's technical stuff, good lighting, great audio, the more that you're able to do it. And then lastly, you just got to start, right? I think that's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's
got to start.
Gotta take
that's
that
the only
first
way
step.
your audience is going to grow. I mean, you can talk about it, you can prepare, you can buy all the stuff, but if you don't hit that go live button, it's never going to happen.
Yeah. Sort of obviously true, and yet has to be said, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Very easy to spend a lot of time thinking about what you want to do. You just got to get started. Cool. So you mind if I ask, how did the pandemic affect you guys? Was it, I don't want to say good
Pandemic
because obviously the
great.
pandemic wasn't good for anyone, but
No, I understand, right? I mean, I understand where you're going with that. For us, it was an opportunity to field a ton of inbound, to be honest with you, right? Because you have to think about in a live streaming space, January, right, of last year, what have you, there is probably a momentum where in some cases, live stream was like an afterthought. It was like, I'm doing this event and I'll put a camera in the back and we'll just stream it, right? Whereas now, when that 100% stopped and you have no in-person folks to be a part of your conference or webinar or virtual event or in-person event, like now you got to switch to this virtual. And so we received tremendous amount of calls and emails about like, hey, how do I take this experience that I'm used to doing in person and get online. So it was kind of like a gift and a curse in some ways, because we had to field a lot of stuff to make sure that people didn't put us in a box of something that we didn't do. Like we're not a webinar platform, so you can't sell tickets and hope that people are going to tune in. And then it's like, well, why don't you do that, right? So. But it really helped us to kind of to gauge and reaffirm what we believe is important. And so it was great to have those calls and understand what people are looking for, from real estate agents to yoga studios, to insurance, agents, like, hey, I want to do these meetings that I typically have and seminars, and I want to invite people, and I want to do these fireside chats, and how do I take Zoom and all these different, webinar platforms and have that same type of approach, in a live video. And then you had your traditional stuff. Like think about just like weekly, house of worship services, right? So I can't tell you how many times we had. So half the congregation has a Facebook page and half has a YouTube channel, and I don't know how to do it to both, right? And so I was told that this is a way to do that. And then we also have a website, right? So it was very encouraging to see that we were able to respond and be there as a resource for folks that were looking to do that. And then again, like I said, reaffirm where we fit at in this, this live streaming supply chain, and really helping folks to take video and put it and publish it where it makes sense for them, right? And that's, I think at the end of the day, that's how we were able to respond in a pandemic. And it's based off of just feedback and some like the surveys and feedback that we've seen with customers, it's now a part of their strategy. So because what it did, it allowed them.
That was going to be the next question, right? I mean, like the houses of worship, how much are they going to keep on?
It's like because now it allowed them to not only support, people who weren't in person, but it allowed them to share and grow their audience like really on a global scale, because the world is huge and live video isn't just relegated to, the front door of your establishment. And so that's where I think it's really starting to open a ton of folks' eyes, especially even with the sun is getting, the sun setting is getting
the dots are coming
like right in my face. Sorry. Like even
Looks
with
cool.
the events stuff, where people are now able to have participants and guests, that they otherwise would not have had accessibility to be a part of their shows and be a part of their fireside chats. Like it's really opened up, folks' eyes to understand that, live video is here to stay. It's definitely going to grow. It's definitely going to get, bigger. And you know what? It's easy. It's not that hard. You don't need an IT ninja SWAT team to pull this off. You can do it. And there's great tools that allow you to do what you need to get done.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the tools have really come along so far. It's remarkable how nice all this stuff is now. Right.
Yeah. And so, that's probably one of the dilemmas is how much do you focus on what other products are out there and try to build that, incorporate that, or, how much of that do we, look to partner and be an avenue to tie into some of these platforms, right? I think that to me, makes a ton of sense, where, you have products like Ecamm who, allow you to produce a great quality, stream on your Mac, like all the production stuff. Like, let's figure out how do we make it simple for people to use Ecamm and then go to Switchboard and then go live where they need to go, right? And so that's how we think about it, and really what we want to do, and continue to make it simple for customers and users in both groups, right? Not just ours, but their customer base as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the partnerships obviously are important, right? We're trying to stitch together a complete solution, right? I thought it was so cool today. I installed Ecamm and I logged into my username password, and first thing it asked me is, do you want to set up, Switchboard, YouTube, Facebook? I said, hey, I know that guy, right? So that's really nice that you're, integrated, right into these, fantastic products.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I think I actually met the team, some of the core team members, probably 3 years ago. They were at a social media convention in San Diego, and when you meet other founders that are really super passionate about what they're building, I click with that, and so we had a good conversation, and I remember chatting with one of them probably at the beginning of last year as well, or maybe not the beginning, maybe Q2 of last year. And, they too, I think everyone in the live streaming space just saw a positive perspective, a ton of inbound, different use cases, and really grew. And so I think that was, super encouraging. And you really think about all the different types of organizations that were on the fence and thinking about live video. And we're planning, all right, we're going to do that in Q3 or Q4, like all of that just went out the window, right? Because you had to act. And so there was a ton of first timers, learning on the fly, which was awesome to see that. And again, you had to do those things, and it's been awesome to see that it hasn't faded, right? So people are making this now a part of their strategies moving forward.
Yeah. That's good. What else? So a funny thing, we talked about this before, just, I don't know if any of our audience has been with us long enough to remember, but the original name for Speedify was Switchboard.
I know. I remember you telling me that.
During the beta period, our product was called Switchboard, and we finally decided it was the wrong name for the product, and so we switched to Speedify. And I have to be honest, I keep getting confused. It's been 10 years since we called anything Switchboard, and every time someone says Switchboard, I'm like, hey, that's me. No, it's not me. It's you.
Well, we get confused with the white pages, right? So sometimes we'll get those, switchboard.com, I believe, goes to the white pages. But why did you guys choose? Why did you guys choose Switchboard? Out of curiosity.
You're plugging in all of these different internet connections. Right. But you're bonding them together. You're not really picking between them. So we realized it wasn't quite the right analogy.
Gotcha. Yeah, we played on that as well.
Yeah.
Like that was the thought for sure. That totally is it. It's you're plugging into all these different platforms as well. But we're doing it live, so that's why we added the dot live to it, and we focus on it. So Switchboard Live is the company, and the product is actually Switchboard. Actually, the product's called Switchboard Cloud, but we listen to our customers. No one calls it that, so we call it Switchboard as well. Just make it easy.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Matt, do you have another question for us? You might want to join us here.
Yeah, no, the Q&A, honestly, I think they're just so engrossed by you guys talking and hearing the greatness of two tech CEOs. Really just a meeting of the minds, as I've said. I think they're just so engrossed that they're afraid to come in with their questions.
So we are taking live questions. If any of you have live questions.
We are taking live questions. We're also monitoring. We're on Twitter at Speedify, Instagram at Speedify. If you have any questions and for some reason you're too shy to do it here where these two might see, again, I understand. You can ask them there. We'll pass them along. So Rudy,
before this,
yeah. No, you go ahead.
I was going to say,
you're the boss.
You're in Philly now, right? But your story about what you were doing before Switchboard was located in Florida.
Yeah. So
how'd you end out here?
Yeah, so I kind of did the the U.S. tour. So I'm originally from Philadelphia, so born and raised in Philly.
Good man.
I went to school in D.C. I went to Howard University in D.C. And then I got like the dream job. So I went out and I was working in the gaming industry. So I was in the Bay Area for a period of time. So I worked at EA Sports for a period of time. And then from there, I ended in Florida because I was still with the EA and the gaming industry. And then I spent some time at what I didn't realize was a startup, but when I look back, it totally was, it's a sports technology company. And this is probably where, the affinity towards video came and where I kind of started getting interested in video is, the company I worked for, it's changed different names over different times. And I think now it's a part of like Endeavor Streaming, which is, a big company, but, they built, when you ever hear coaches say they're going to break down game film, that's where we were building like football product coaches stations. I think that's the term they use. I'm trying to remember back some of the terminology, but it was awesome. It was an awesome experience. I got to travel and meet, different, college, universities and NFL pro teams and so forth. But yeah, that's where the original idea sparked was from, like those, providing services to the colleges for their live video. And this is back in 2005, 2006, like the Windows Media days and 320 by 240, like little video windows, right? So, I'm kind of dating myself here, but I've been in video for quite a live video. Really
I think all videos had to come off LimeWire back then. I think that's the only way to transport them.
Napster too, right?
Yeah. That's our next partnership. That's our next. We're bringing Napster back.
Yeah, and so
for the future generations.
So I started a company down there with some other folks, and honestly, just for other entrepreneurs out there, my goal was to kind of really own and have the optionality of where I wanted to build a business, and what better city than coming back to Philly. I still have friends and family, in Orlando area, but wanted to get back home. That's where majority of my family resides in this Philly, New Jersey, Delaware area. So yeah, it's great. I'm really connected. Moved back here 2016. Yeah, 2016. So
just in time for the Eagles run.
Exactly.
So that was great.
Yeah.
Good time.
Yeah.
That was the key to it all. Had to have Switchboard back.
Exactly.
So what sports do you follow? Do you follow Eagles, Sixers, Phillies?
Oh, 100%. Yes. I just celebrated a birthday 10 days ago, right? And and I got an Eagles jersey with my name on the back. So like that was like
Oh.
an amazing
Nice.
from my sister.
All right.
So yeah, huge Eagles fan. Have a lot of paraphernalia. Now I'm not the typical Philly Eagles fan. Like, you know, the external Philly guys, Philly fan, where people think we're like just
You don't climb
super
the
crazy, flying a pole. I don't. No. But I tend
you
to
seem
like
too
want to
happy
watch
to
the
be
games by
typically.
myself or with a small crowd. Like I don't like to have the big everyone over kind of thing. So
No.
I don't let
I'm
it
the
affect
same
me on
way.
my days if they lose. You know, like it doesn't ruin my days.
So I just want to point out when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, right? There was the huge thing where they filled Broad Street, and then every article had pictures of flipped cars and stuff like that. And it looked like the whole city was a mess.
Mm-hmm.
But the misleading thing was that every one of those photographs were taken from different angles on the block of our office.
Really?
There was one car flipped in the city. It was right outside our office. And, they all took pictures of it from different angles. It looked like the whole city was full. No, it's only our block.
I'm sorry, you've never told me that. There should be a plaque. There should be like a city marker out there that was where the flipped car was. That's a famous landmark at this point.
Yeah.
You guys should have had a picture from your vantage point, like in the office, like looking down on the street, right? Like that would have been cool.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the new company. We're gonna replace the shirts and we're gonna have a new logo for that one. I think we did just have a question coming. Let me see. I'm gonna be reading it live. No, this is just a compliment for you, Alex. Just from Pedro saying, "Excellent job, guys. Speedify solved my needs for streaming video like the very expensive live production companies. Thank you. I am in Mexico." So you see your global product, nice little boost. A little bit more content than Jeffrey provided when he just said hello, so I'll take that one. That's worth sharing.
That's awesome. That's
awesome. Again, if anybody has any questions out there, just keep them coming. I'll keep passing along.
So, what you guys have any new features in the latest version of your guys' app?
So we're working on a couple things that are coming along here. One, more stats on the live streams. Right. So when you're doing a live stream in the user interface, we show, Google Chrome is live streaming or Ecamm is live streaming. More stats, like if we can tell it's not doing as well as we would like, we are going to start warning you and telling you what we think the problem is, right? That, you don't have enough bandwidth. Or the other thing is monitoring CPU and memory on your system, because a lot of times it's some other program.
Sure.
Eating up your whole CPU, and the problem has nothing to do with Speedify. But once you're running Speedify, if the video is not perfect, then you think Speedify failed you. So we're starting in the next version. We're starting to look for other problems on your PC, only while you're live streaming, to warn you that hey, this might be causing you problems.
That's a very
we're
good
also
point.
We have a speed test built in. It's going to add a live streaming test, where it tries to figure out what resolution you can get. Trying to get 20 megabits, 5 megabits, something in that range, and try to figure out, if your connections are good enough for live streaming before you go live.
Gotcha.
So those are the two big.
Just the bonded connections or computer as well.
We're really just focused on the bonded connections. We thought about it, but we thought if in any way, like, we don't want to touch your camera, right? Your camera is probably being used by like Ecamm or StreamYards. And if we try to make sure it's working, we may accidentally take it away from the app you're actually using. So we decided that on that front, we wouldn't actually touch your camera or microphone. Just, internet connection, look at CPU, GPU, memory, that stuff, make sure nothing's going wrong.
That's actually a good point, because, I've had my fair share of experiences where folks are complaining about, frame rate issues and not realizing that they're taxing their computer, right? And that can definitely impede on the quality of the stream. And that's typically like the first thing is making sure that, you have your settings correct within whatever type of encoding application, and those are like the basic stuffs that a lot of times we assume that people are doing, but they're not necessarily doing that.
So the big insight came. We were Ryan and I, who's the guy hidden in the back, Yeah, superimposing the text and stuff here. We tried to do a video about how much Speedify helps Zoom. So he and I did some Zoom calls, and it was fantastic. So then I fired up OBS, started recording my screen, and we did a Zoom call, and it was terrible.
Mm.
It was low resolution. We looked at the video afterwards. It was just low frame rate, and couldn't figure it out. Like, what did Speedify do wrong? And so we tried to make it again. And this time I went in the task manager and saw my GPU was at 100%, right?
Oh,
Zoom uses 80% of my GPU, and OBS, when streaming, uses 80% of my GPU. If I try to use OBS recording Zoom, they fall over, and they each only do half of what they're supposed to do. And so, when even I was blaming Speedify, that was the deep insight that we need to start looking at other things on your system, because
that makes a ton of sense. Yeah, and it's as product owners, it's not we can't assume that everyone knows to look for those types of things, right? You got to really kind of put yourself in their situation and think about the flow, because they're, to your point, I want to screen capture my Zoom, and I'm using the two products that I think it would work, but not realizing that there's contention going on with the GPU because of both products needing to use it. So I'm sure that's tough. And frankly, that's why we're our focus is like, all right, let all the other products that are out there do what they do really well, and we're going to just stay right here, and we're going to make it and focus on the connection, the syndication, the distribution, the audience, growing your viewers, because that should be what matters. Is like how many people you're able to convert and tune in and engage your your live content.
Yeah, especially, this is a frothy market, right? We're early on. Like, products are at some level not good enough, right? It's not easy enough. You can't do everything you want to do. You have to understand all this stuff. Someday it's going to consolidate, right?
That's actually a really good point.
But I think we're pretty far from there still.
I'd love to. I think, when you asked me earlier about how did the pandemic, affect your company, one of the things that we talked about internally was if you take a step back and look at all the various like virtual event webinar kind of platforms that, like all popped up, a ton of them, they all have to be using the same type of like APIs back there, because there aren't that many, new innovative, platforms that you can use. And to your point, there's going to be some type of arbitrage or consolidation that's going to definitely happen. And it's interesting to see, whatever that time period, like, and just that particular segment, like what's left, who's left. So, you're absolutely correct. I definitely think there's going to be consolidation and so forth. So really, putting your flag and owning your niche is definitely key in this space.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, you're doing a great job. I love this product. Streaming all sorts of places now.
No, it's been fun. It's been an enjoy ride. I think, from an idea to today, it's been a journey, and being a first time CEO and building a team and moving and building a remote workforce. Like, these are all the things that, have an impact on what you want to do and how you want to get there. And so, it's definitely, not easy some days, but, I think we all enjoy what we're doing. We're super passionate. I just wish we could, like with anything, we could move faster, we could do more. And so yeah, those are just some of the growing pains as a startup and so forth.
So actually, I guess last topic, are you guys totally virtual? Are you still going into an office at all?
So right now, as of today, we're totally virtual. So we have folks in Europe, we have folks in Colorado, we have Jersey, PA, Florida. So like we're pretty spread all over, right? Will we go back in the office? I think right now it's working. It's helping with, at least from the personal standpoint, just being able to tend to family, kids and so forth, to kind of be able to maintain that work-life balance. I think it's helped out a ton. For me personally, I mean, it's cut down on commute time, and I'll be able to leverage that, to do what I want to do.
So one advantage, of course, of being CEO, right, is I put the office 1 mile from my house, so it's a 20-minute walk. It's perfect, right?
Perfect for you, right? Yeah. So
for me, that's right. A couple people are coming back now, and a lot of people are, dragging their feet and stuff. So our lease is up the end of September, and after a huge amount of back and forth, I think we're going to go virtual and continue arguing about it for a little while.
Wow, that's interesting.
So I think we're going to move some stuff to storage here. Yeah, I mean, there was no getting out of the lease, so I was paying for the space. I come in, sit here alone in my office some days. My 5,000 square feet.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's I think for us, at least for the foreseeable, I mean, we're definitely going to embrace this culture. I mean, in fact, we're actually looking to hire a couple more developers, and we're even looking like globally, right? So we have some inroads with like South America and so forth. So I think that's one of the things that's been pretty interesting about what occurred and how you as a a business owner start to really think about how to maximize and diversify your organization, because different perspectives allow for different types of thought processes and experiences can help really build a good culture within a company. So I think that's one of the cool things about being able to hire people that you probably wouldn't have had the ability to do if everything had to be within a physical central location.
Yeah. All right. Awesome.
This was fun.
Yeah, this was fun. Matt, you want to come back?
Yeah, sure. Happy to come back to wrap it up a little bit. I can pop back in a little bit like that. Makes me feel like the main character, just like coming in and out. I enjoy that. I did not know the office is going virtual, so that was a fun announcement.
Oh yeah.
Breaking news.
Now I know. Yeah, I know.
Matt's been in Florida for the last year. I mean, it has no effect on him.
It's a spiritual difference, but yeah, I guess I probably would have been pro vote for. Would have been hard for me to make the argument to keep the lease, but yeah, I just wanted to pop back in and say, Rudy, thanks again for so much for coming in today. It's been great. I want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in and who came in with your questions. We really enjoyed that. I want to say good job to Alex, because I think he did great. I just want to say, I had like one last question. If you had to just pick one for Switchboard Live, like what would you consider like your long-term goal? Like if you had like one that you had to write in like permanent marker and say that's what we're shooting for, like what would you say you're most shooting for?
That's a great question. I guess I could probably interpret that a couple ways. Are you thinking from like an exit strategy, or
I'm saying for you, like what you would most want to like what I'm just curious. How often do you have to have a chance to ask a question like this? That's something I always would like to hear.
Yeah. I think for us, we want to be synonymous with the flow or the process for you to get more viewers on your live streams, right? So however that is, and being the tool or marketplace or product or workflow that enables that. And so I think that's where we're gonna. I'm gonna use this term I've heard a couple of times. Like we're gonna double click on that, right, and really focus in on
I like that.
Striving for that. Like that's our North Star. It's when we take a step back and kind of the long-winded way is like we look at all the different things we could do and what we've done and what we've really focused on. It automatically kind of brings us right back to like this core component of making it simple for you to be able to bring in folks to get more viewers, and that's really what we want to do. So being synonymous with that process is like really figuring out like, hey, we need to get all the different destinations that make sense for this type of stream. Oh, Switchboard is a way to make that happen. Or, we need this type of audience, right? We need this type of demographic. Oh, Switchboard makes that happen. So I think that is where we're spending a ton of our time in.
I'm gonna call it right now. Within 10 years, if you're streaming, the first two questions are: do I have Switchboard? Do I have Speedify? Do I have them together? That's the synergy that we're shooting for.
I like it.
You have to tick those off, and then everything else after that. But that's going to be the future of streaming. I can't wait for it.
All right,
I like it.
Neither can I.
You heard it here first, folks. Right?
Yeah. No. This is the big announcement. I didn't get the announcements out of Rudy before, but I can't get that one, so we'll count for that. But yeah, I just again, thank you so much for coming on tonight. Thanks for everybody who jumped on Speedify Live. I want to say one more time, you can follow us at Speedify on Instagram, on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. We're all on there. But the socials are really the place to go to for when to hear more about these streams, to know when Rudy's gonna come back on and give us his whole fourth quarter, new tech rollout. Yeah. We'll announce that first on Twitter, first on Instagram. So follow us there.
I like how you held back and kept it secret. Unlike me, I just blabbed everything that was coming.
Alex just casually dropped it. Oh yeah, we're relocating the office. By the way, that's closing down. Physical space.
Welcome to Montana.
But yeah, no, this has been great. It's been so great. We would definitely love to have you back again. It's been fantastic.
Likewise. Thanks for having me, guys. You guys have a great rest of your evening.
You as well.
All right. Thanks, Rudy.
Bye, guys. Take care.
Everybody.